What's up, familia? Coming at you, Chiang Mai, Thailand, from Camp Co-working Space. And on today's podcast, we have a special one for you. The filmmaker behind PassportHeavy, the one and only Anthony Creative. Here he is.
Yo, what's up, guys?
So this is your first podcast interview?
This is my first interview, full stop. Never been interviewed before.
Awesome, awesome. So I just kind of wanted Ant to kind of share his story to hopefully inspire some of you guys. And you've had quite the wild ride over the past couple years with PassportHeavy. So I guess just tell people, first of all, like where you're from and how you got to be out here in Chiang Mai right now.
Okay, so it's a bit of a long story. It's a very long story, actually. I guess it really sparks from when I was a kid, and at the age of about 13, I used to do what's called parkour free running. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's like doing flips, you know, jumping on walls, that kind of thing. And so I'm from London, by the way, so I would always go down to London with my friends, and we would kind of jump on walls, and that kind of sparked me to kind of start getting a camera and filming what we did. And then that kind of progressed through my teenage years into actually making videos of like my friends and adventures with people. And then eventually, you know, I was going through school, and I ended up moving on to a creative school in London called the Brit School. I was there for 2 years, and I only just got through it really because I'm not the type of person that really likes to sit down and write essays. Really wasn't into it, so I managed to just about get through it. And then I remember leaving school, and I was the only person, or one of the only people in my class that didn't apply to university, just because I didn't like the idea of sitting down, doing essays and questioning, you know, what was the point in this when I could just be going out there and doing what I loved.
Yeah, exactly.
So I ended up leaving, and then I remember getting home, and I remember my mom saying to me, like, okay, so, right, what now, Anthony? What are you gonna do with your life? Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm not getting a job because I've had a day job before and I didn't enjoy it. I just want to make videos, and so that's what I did. I started making videos. At the time I had no money, I was unemployed. I started making videos, and then eventually I started getting traction. I started getting companies coming to me to make videos for their businesses, and they pay me to do that.
Oh wow.
I did that for about 2 years in London, stayed in London, and I was doing that for ages, and I loved it because I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. It wasn't the easiest thing in the world, you know, sometimes I'd go months without work. And then so I was doing that for 2 years, as I said, and then one night I'd been like kind of, there'd been no work for months, and I was sitting on my computer one day, and well, it was really late at night, like 4 in the morning, and kind of a nocturnal sleeper. Yeah. So I was scrolling through Facebook, as you do, not really doing anything important, and I stumbled across my good friend Jabril. If you don't know who he is, he's a social media marketer, but he also has something called PassportHeavy. It's a group of people, a company. We travel the world and we tell stories of the places we go. We do cost of livings, we do what to know about certain countries, etc, etc.
Yeah. PassportHeavy, man, you guys already know what it is. PassportHeavy. So wait, did you know Jabril at the time, or you had just like, you followed him on Facebook? How did you know about him on Facebook, or how did you just through YouTube you had followed his channel?
So I had absolutely no clue who Jabril was, to be honest with you. I had no clue what PassportHeavy was. I simply saw this ad because I'm a filmmaker, and probably because I like a lot of filmmaking pages. It popped up.
Oh,
it was a promoted ad. It was like a video. So I was like, it was like attentional filmmakers. I was a filmmaker, so I looked at the ad, and it was basically Jabril was looking for a filmmaker in London. He was in London looking for a filmmaker to come and travel with his crew and make these awesome videos. And it seemed like a dream at the time. And I think, you know, part of me was just going to scroll past it and think, oh, I'll never be able to get something like that. There'll be loads of people applying. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go for it. So what I did, it was 4 in the morning. He wanted my show reel sent over, and he wanted a video of myself explaining who I was. And so I did that right there and then. I went outside into my local park. There's a park just behind my house, and recorded myself talking about what I did and how I come to where I was, and a bit about me and my story. And then he ended up hitting me back a few days later saying, yo, let's meet up. Ended up meeting him up in London, and then well, it took about 2 months of kind of waiting before he said I was kind of in the crew, but you know, 2 months later I ended up flying out to Bangkok in Thailand.
Woo!
And damn man, like I'd never been so far away from home. I'd never lived alone, you know, outside of my family. I'd never really done anything like this, and I think part of me knew that, you know, the second I saw that flight ticket, that one-way ticket to Bangkok, something in my mind told me that, you know, my life was about to change, you know, indefinitely, and it pretty much has. You know, a year later, that was a year ago, and I'm currently in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Woo!
So, yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen the video, it's called Cost of Living Chiang Mai 4K. Just amazingly shot cinematic video, and also it will talk about the cost of living in Chiang Mai, which is relatively cheap. Everyone knows this is like the digital nomad capital of the world. I personally came out here 3 years ago for a digital nomad conference, and that's actually why I'm back this month, because the Nomad Summit is this weekend. So I guess people watching because of Chiang Mai, you've done a good amount of time here. What is your kind of, I know you did the video on Chiang Mai, but what's your kind of personal scoop on Chiang Mai? What can you tell, maybe, what would you tell like your friends back home about this place?
I spent about 8 months in Thailand, well in Chiang Mai specifically, last year. And I've come back here, and I've actually moved here. I've got a 6-month contract on a rental out here.
Okay.
And there's a very good reason I did that. I wouldn't just make that decision lightly. And over the 8 months I was here, when I first got to Chiang Mai, I didn't really see what the hype was about. To be honest with you, I didn't really see what the hype was about. But over time it started growing on me, and the things that really stood out about this place was, first and foremost, the people here. The people here are super chilled out, super relaxed. The lifestyle is very laid back, very carefree.
Yeah.
The food's incredible for the most part, you know, if you know where to go. Thai food, I'm a big fan of it. The weather out here is incredible most of the time. At the moment, yeah, it's a beautiful day today. It's very dry. You do get wet season like you do in most of the tropics. But yeah, it's very cheap as well. The cost of living is incredible, which is a huge drawing factor for me in comparison to London. It's probably 4 or 5 times cheaper to live out here. The internet as well, great co-working spaces. We're actually at one right now. Internet here is unbelievable, and it's free, and it's 24-hour service too. It's just a great place to live and to work. It's very carefree, it's very relaxed, and it's very aligned with, because I'm really chilled out, so it's very aligned with who I am as a person as well. And yeah, that's why I love Chiang Mai.
Exactly. It's got it all, and literally like filming this podcast here for maybe 10-15 minutes, I might get sunburned. So let's step back and sit down like right here and get this background. Right. So let's see. So for your past high school self, or maybe for another filmmaker who's in high school right now, in London or America or anywhere around the world, someone who's in high school and doesn't want to go to university, I guess what would you tell your past self in high school, and what tips can you give to people who are kind of looking for something similar?
Okay, so let me think about this one. It's an interesting one, because I get asked this a lot from you know, filmmakers. I get DMs sometimes of young filmmakers, 18, 19, 20, sometimes younger than that, asking me, yo, like, I want to do what you do. I want to travel and I want to make videos. And this is something that, to actually travel and to make videos, I'd say the first thing you need to do is obviously just keep working at the art. Keep working at your craft, keep getting better and better, keep progressing. You need to really work on your skill. The better you are, the more you can get noticed. But I think a big part of it as well is, I think, you know, 50% of it is also who you know. So your networks, who you know, your links, really getting out there and networking with the right individuals will help you a lot. But really, when it comes to anything creative, one thing that's I would say is the most difficult about it is there's not like a certain path you can go down. There's not like, okay, there's not like 5 steps you can follow to be like, go from, okay, now I'm a filmmaker to traveling filmmaker, traveling the world, making videos. It doesn't really work like that. That's the hard thing about anything creative. I think photography, anything like that, is finding your path. Like you have to find your own way through it. You have to figure out yourself a lot of the time. So for me, it was a case of like, it's what I love to do. You need to know that it's something that you enjoy and something that you want to do for the rest of your life. If you don't enjoy it, it's definitely not the thing you want to be getting into. So with first comes passion. With passion, you'll be able to work hard at it, and you'll be able to get better, you'll be able to get good at it. And then the third part is really getting yourself out there, building up your kind of identity as a filmmaker, and then meeting the right people, and then that can branch off to amazing things. For me, I was doing it for years before I came across Jabril. I was doing it really since the age of 13. I've been making videos, but more professionally I would say for 4 years, before I even met Jabril and before I even started traveling. So keep doing it, keep enjoying it. That's the main thing, enjoy it, and eventually, you know, you'll be able to, you'll get jobs that will lead you around the world.
We got the internet now. I gotta be thankful every day for the internet. It allows us to do what we do. It allows us to be living out here in Chiang Mai. And yeah, he got started way before PassportHeavy doing his craft. And I was just telling him before this, like I got started in high school doing like comedy mixtapes. So like me and him, we're kind of the same. We've always been that guy that's just like recording and like making stuff. So even before this YouTube channel, I used to want to have a podcast. I used to be into making beats, like recording music, whether it's doing music, comedy. I've been recording my whole life, and it's just evolved into what we're doing now. For young people, what would you say about going to university? Yeah, what would you say that? I know you didn't go into university, but what would you say to someone who says like, should I go to university? They're in high school, whatever. So
here's my take on university, and really I can only speak for filmmaking and maybe other creative endeavors too. I would say if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a scientist, you want to be an engineer, that's a completely different thing. University, you need the university degree, you need the right documents saying you can do this, this and this, right? To be in those professions. But when it comes to filmmaking and photography and any of these other creative things, like the world is changing hugely. Gone are the days where university used to be a very special thing. Like everyone, this is just my opinion, but kind of everyone goes to university now. And with the creative world, and from what I've seen as well with people around me, is if you took 2 people and they're both filmmakers, and one goes to a university and one goes off in their own direction, just starts doing it, like really just making the videos, getting themselves out there, building up their brand, their identity. I'm willing to honestly bet that the person who went out and just did it and was actively doing it and learning through actually making videos will be further ahead than the person at uni. At uni, a lot of what your filmmaking course is going to be writing essays. It's going to be kind of doing a bunch of work that you possibly don't want to do. Probably learning about history of like film. Like it's not actually going to set you up for the real world. The world's changing. Like it's not going to teach you how to actually, you know, once you get out of uni. I mean, uni can be good. It can be good for meeting the right people. And I think even in the creative school I went to as well, the most valuable part about it was the people I met there, because a lot of the film industry is about contacts, it's about who you know, and it's not really like, you're never going to get asked for a sheet of paper saying you can do this, this and that. It's about you, it's about you as a person, how you interact with others, and about your skill level as well. Like what can you actually bring to the table? That's what it's about.
Absolutely, heck yeah. So your videos are still, like your old videos are still on your YouTube channel?
They are indeed, yes.
Awesome. So yeah, check out Ant's Instagram and his YouTube channel, and like moving into the future, what are kind of some of your visions and dreams? Like are you starting your own projects, or what can people look out for from the young Ant?
So one of the things I really want to do, I do write down my goals. I don't tell I don't tell anyone about my goals, just so that, yeah, I just keep it private to myself.
Cool.
But one of my aims for this year is to really, or next year as well, and like for the future, is to really inspire other filmmakers to like, because there's a lot of filmmakers out there that really want to travel the world and make videos at the same time. It is a really, you know, fulfilling thing to
fucking dream job.
It's a dream. It's literally the dream, and I want to inspire others to do the same. And that's the thing I'm still working out. It's like, how can one go from being a filmmaker to actually going out there and traveling? There's not really like some sort of strategy, but I want to somehow help other filmmakers to do the same thing. So I want to do that with the online world, kind of work my filmmaking into the online world as well, and try and leverage that in some sort of way. Exactly. And just continue to make amazing content that inspires others to travel the world. So that's really my aim at the moment. Just keep making dope videos, and yeah.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth, man. Just keep doing it, keep making dope videos, and inspire and give people the little push in the back to just go for whatever they want to do, whether it's selling on Amazon, whether it's making money from your films and traveling the world, whether it's doing drop shipping, whether it's doing freelance work on Upwork. And the internet is such a wide and diverse place. There's so many opportunities to monetize with the internet, with monetizing your passion. There's so many different avenues, so many different online marketing things. So that's what I'm excited about, is helping people get into the online marketing world, because it can help you fuel your passion. It can help you create that dream job. Like they say, your dream job does not exist, you must create it. And that's what we're doing. So in summary, what can you tell us about your last year in general? You've traveled to so many countries. What can you tell us about this whole travel experience?
Okay, so
like?
here's something I want to leave with, something that's very interesting. So before I flew out to Bangkok, so when I had my life in London, I didn't really see what all the hype was about. You'd always hear about people kind of, oh, I'm traveling, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I didn't really see the hype. I didn't really see how it could have changed my life in any way. So I went into Bangkok, I went into these amazing countries, and over time I had a taste for this kind of lifestyle. And so, like, the people I was with, the amazing people I was with, I realized like these guys ain't going home. Like, these people are living this lifestyle. Like they're living like people go on holiday, right? Like, people go on holiday to like wherever, and they'll go there as like an escape, right? And then they'll come home and they'll be like, oh, back to reality. But these people that I was with, like like Riley, like Jabril, like all these amazing people, they're living this life, they're living this, and you know, they're not going home. And I was over time I got a taste for this kind of lifestyle, and it honestly became addictive. I was seeing all these amazing countries, meeting these amazing people, seeing the most amazing sights, and it's become almost like an addiction now. If I was to go back to London, I don't know how that would work out. I wouldn't feel the same. I'd want to be back here in Chiang Mai, or I'd want to be out on the beach in Bali. Like, it would never hit the same level for me. And I think it's definitely changed me forever, and I don't think I'll ever see myself really living the same lifestyle I used to live. You know, it's never going back, I don't think. So
you got the travel bug, my man. But that's what they call the travel bug, I think. So we're just talking about, like, one thing I always recommend is, if you're coming out of high school, like before you go to university, just take a 3-week trip, or take a 1-month backpacking trip, or take a gap year. Like, the gap year is something they do in like UK and like Australia, but they don't really do it in America. So I actually have a whole video talking about why you should do the gap year after high school, because just like, before you go into university, just see some other cultures, and maybe, you know, as they say, you got to get lost to find yourself. So hindsight 2020, obviously, but so many kids go into university not even knowing for sure what they want to do. They just kind of go, you know, down the conveyor belt, and university is such a big investment. You know, the student debt crisis is like insane if you look into it. So take a 3-week trip at least, or just do a backpacking trip, and maybe you'll get lost, but that's how you find yourself, and maybe you'll get addicted to the travel bug. like people like Ant who never even really knew about the travel lifestyle. Like it's a lifestyle. Like just like he said, I don't really see myself anytime soon going back to living in one place the whole year. Like we're living in 2-3 places every year. So yeah. And
it's so like accessible as well. Like I never thought you could live this cheaply out here. I can live.
Yo, battery died there, but he got cut off. He was talking about how cheap it is. But actually, why don't you just go watch the PassportHeavy video that he filmed and edited all by himself on cost of living in Chiang Mai. And so, how long did it take you to edit that video?
Okay, so if I count everything together, I mean, I would say 8 hours a day of focus. It would take me about 2.5 weeks to put a video that long together. You know, you got voiceover, you got visuals, you got color grading, you got text. It's a lot of work, but I don't like saying work because I enjoy what I do. It was an amazing experience putting it all together. But yeah, so it takes a lot of time to put a video like that.
He was telling me over 700 gigs of footage. Takes 2 days just to organize all the footage, 2 weeks to edit. So go check out that video, cost of living in Chiang Mai, 4K, and check out the links in the description to see what Ant is up to and more information on everything we talked about.
Check it out.
Yeah, cheers guys, thanks for being on, Ant. Make sure you subscribe, subscribe to all the things. Cheers, see you guys in Chiang Mai. Peace.